boop, 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 making sure I'm good. Camera's good.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
You sound great.
Awesome. So I'm live. Let me just make sure this works. Muted. Okay, so
Perfect. Right. I am going to switch to my live scene. Well, hello. I have Dr. K with me. Good morning. How are
Ashley,
you?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a sponsor stream today with Ambetter Health. We're going to talk about mental health, what Ambetter Health is, and just have some good conversation. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you today. So thank you for all the work you do.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes. So for folks that don't know who I am Miss Ash Rock, so you can call me Ashley, Ash, whatever floats your boat, run your river. I stream a variety of stuff. I usually play a bunch of shooters, but I also have my soft spots where I play Animal Crossing or anything else that's community based and just love having fun. So that's a little bit about me. I usually stream at really, really late night, really, really late night, 9 p.m. PST. So this is very early for me and I love it. I feel refreshed. But if you don't know who Dr. K is, let's learn a little bit about him and what Healthy Gamer GG is.
Hey, Ashley. Thanks so much for the introduction. So my name is Dr. K. I'm a psychiatrist practicing in Boston, Massachusetts, and one of the co-founders of healthygamer.gg, which is a online mental health platform sort of designed for gamers. And we stream mental health content here on Twitch.
That's amazing. How long have you been doing this stream?
Ooh, I want to say 2 or 3 years. It's probably, technically, it's closer to 3 years. I think we first started streaming in 2018.
Wow. What inspired you to join a Twitch platform to do work like this?
Well, when I started out, so when I got into medical school, I had been struggling with video game addiction for a long time, sort of overcame it. And then as I started to get curious about video game addiction, started to realize there weren't really many resources out there for people who are struggling with developing healthy gaming habits. I think a lot of people, when they hear the word addiction, they think that, abstinence and they want to compare it to other kinds of addiction. But what I really found was that a lot of people were just struggling to better understand their own mental health and how to get healthy, how to stay more focused, how to do well in school or at their job, or, how to socialize a little bit better. And so we started kind of streaming to address all of those people. And that's kind of how we got our start.
Wow. Video game addiction is real. How old am I? 24. I really think the last couple years, I'm like, wow, it is real. Because when I was younger and playing games, I'm like, no way, that's not real. What is video game addiction? How do you know when you're addicted and not addicted? I guess that's my first question for you.
Yeah, so that's a
Because you
great.
could just be enjoying the game a lot, but what is addiction?
Yeah, so I think it's a really fantastic question, Ashley. Where's the line between video game addiction and just enjoying it? And I think in short, if it causes a problem, it is a problem. So when I really think about addiction, I think about something that is interfering with some part of your life or impairing your function. If it interferes with your school, if it interferes with your professional work, your personal relationships, social relationships, if it interferes with your physical health, then I really think of it as an addiction.
Wow. And can you talk a little bit more about your experience and how you figured that out?
Yeah, so I grew up, I actually started school maybe a little bit early. So my parents put me into school early. And so
Mhm.
I was actually smaller than all of the other kids, which is not something that I really understood or realized until I was much older. And so early on, at my school, sports were a big thing. And I just wasn't as good as the other kids. So I was a 6-year-old competing against 7-year-olds. And so I found that, in video games, like, it didn't matter how big I was or how small I was. And so I really fell in love with games. Really enjoyed playing them, really found them to be challenging as well. I thought school was kind of
Yeah.
easy. And so
Mm.
started to get into gaming, got called a nerd a lot, and it kind of became a part of who I am. And then later on, really just started playing way too many video games in high school and especially first couple of years of college.
Wow. So you said you were younger starting school. What age would you say that you started school when you were younger than
I
everybody?
was probably 5. I don't really remember 100%, and then I
Okay.
skipped the first grade. So
Wow. You're just smart. You're a smarty pants.
yeah, I mean, some people say that, sure. I think I went to a school that had a a very high teacher to student ratio. So there were like
Mm.
20 kids in the class and there were like 3 teachers.
Wow.
But the class was also like everywhere from kindergarten to like 8th grade. So it was different.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's an incredible story. You've came a long way and now you're using your platform to help others. That's awesome. I love that. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about the work that you have done so far with Healthy Gamer GG, because Healthy Gamer GG is not just you, it's so many other individuals that are helping others as well. Um, and it's to support, online personalities with their mental health and everything. But can you give us like a little, just some history, like on what Healthy Gamer GG has done so far
Yeah.
for
So
creators?
what we try to do is support the mental health of the digital generation. And so what I sort of discovered during psychiatric training is that a lot of the problems that younger people especially face from a mental health perspective are things that you don't actually get taught in medical school or training to become a
Mhm.
psychologist or psychiatrist. At the top of the list are things like technology addiction, technology usage, social media, but also like there's been there are a lot of challenges that people face in terms of like for example, gifted kids that never learn to study because school is too easy for them, and then they kind of hit a wall later in life. That's like just one
Okay.
example of people that we try to support. Um, and so the work that we try to do is to understand, okay, what are the mental health needs of the digital generation, and how can we develop either a community where people can sort of relate to other people like themselves, content so that people can educate themselves, or even coaching. So we have a mental health coaching platform, which is not it's not therapy. And that's part of the reason that we're really excited about actually this stream today, which is a sponsored stream. So a lot of people in our community do ask us, because at Healthy Gamer, we don't offer clinical services. How do I find a good
Mhm.
therapist, or how do I get into therapy? And I think if you really look at the research, what we really find is that access to mental health treatment is very, barricaded by having insurance. And so one of the reasons that we actually decided to do this stream is to share with people some information about Ambetter Health, which is an insurance company, and sort of improve the access to mental health treatment.
Yeah. Excuse me. So with coaching, I actually was a part of that earlier this year, which is
Wow.
absolutely incredible. I love the program. I forgot who I chatted with. I forgot their name, but they were amazing. We met up every week, and it felt nice to just talk to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
because in this industry, you feel so alone sometimes, even with a huge community that loves you. You just feel like you're alone and you can't talk to anybody, and you have your bad days. So it was nice to have somebody there to help you understand your feelings. Personally, that's what I experienced, because I struggled my entire life understanding how I feel, and I'll just put myself in a corner and not do anything, just shut everybody out because I don't understand how I'm feeling or how I needed help. So I just want to give big thumbs up for that program. It's amazing. Coaching is incredible. And again, like you said, it's not therapy. So just a heads up for everybody. But I do encourage you to join the coaching program if you are looking for someone to talk to and just help understand your feelings, because that's what it helped me personally do. So that's amazing. So with Ambetter Health, it helps you find insurance, correct?
Yeah, so I think that that's
Okay.
a big barrier to getting into therapy. So,
Hmm.
as a non-clinical platform, like I said, we get a lot of people who are curious. Actually, I think I saw a post on our subreddit today from someone who was like, how do I find a good therapist? And I think one of the biggest ways, one of the biggest bottlenecks is actually having health insurance. And so that's kind of why we're here today, is to tell people a little bit about that as well.
Correct. Yes. Being in this industry, it's really difficult to reach out and get the help, especially if you're a full time streamer. It's hard finding that insurance, especially in a pandemic too. So I'm glad we have Embetter. And we do have a chat command in our chats for you to check out the Ambetter Health website. So make sure you take a look at that and see if you can get the help that you need. I know it's in certain states, so make sure you do qualify in those states. Um, so I wanted to chat a little bit about what you do on your streams. If nobody has ever tuned into your streams, what do you usually do? Do you just come up with a topic and you just chat with your community and take questions, or how does your streams usually work?
Yeah, so there are a couple of different options. So the first is that we'll do interviews with people. So one of the big things that I kind of learned, I think I was in my second year of training to become a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
when I would spend a lot of time just talking to gamers over the internet. This was before I started streaming, and trying to figure out, okay, how can I help these people? And what I sort of discovered is I was having the same conversation with people over and over and over again. So we talked to a lot of content creators, for example, about burnout, which I think is the program that you were a part of, which was the content creator coaching program.
Mhm.
So we'll do interviews with people about everything from, depression, anxiety. We had a really interesting interview recently about binge eating disorder, which may have
Wow.
been more gamer eating disorder as opposed to a more
Mhm.
classic binge eating disorder. And so we just talk about, whatever topics people who come on are kind of interested in. We'll also do Q&A, and things like that. So we'll take questions from our Discord community or questions from our subreddit. Sometimes I'll give lectures. So I'll actually explicitly teach something, using kind of like an online whiteboard and things
That's
like
so
that. So
cool.
usually a
Oh, I love
combination
that.
of interviews, question Q&A, and lecturing.
Ah, I love that. Gosh, I'm so thrilled to just chat with you again because I love all the work you're doing. And if you have never tuned into Dr. K's stream, make sure you tune in and give him a follow. We are squad streaming right now. And at this very moment, we can start taking questions from chat. If you have any questions, you can throw them in my chat or Dr. K's chat, and we'll get right to them.
Ashley, I just wanted to